Bim! Guess what? It's just gone 10 o'clock on a Sunday, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for the weekly news review roundup, news at 10, news roundup, news round thing of the week and review, where I give my comments, etc. on the week's news. What has been going on this week in the news? Today is the 25th of October already. We're practically at Christmas, which is slightly worrying. Bearing in mind we're still not finished with summer yet, but anyway, let's just go with it, shall we? Don't forget you can join in the chat by quite simply joining in the chat. You get a mention, we'll have a chat about what I'm talking about. You don't have to agree with what I say, obviously, because, well, that'd be boring if you agreed with everything I said. So we can have a discussion about this, that and the other. We can decide what, if anything, is right and what is wrong. You'll also get, like I say, a name check at the end of the show. It just goes on for about an hour. Try and do some light-hearted stuff later on. We're ignoring American media outlets because they're all biased. Get to the stage now where I want to ignore the BBC and Sky as well because they're all biased, including something I'll talk about later on about Sky and the horrific events that went on in Germany and the way it was interpreted by a guest on Sky. Yeah, things have gone very, very wrong in this world. Anyway, shall we crack on? Shall we crack on? We shall. No one's joined us yet, so it doesn't really matter. So let's get going, shall we? Monday was the beginning of the week, and it was the 19th on Monday. 6 are missing after a British luxury yacht sinks off the Isle of Sicily in a freak storm. It was apparently a water spout that did it, basically a tornado in the water. At least one person dead, a few missing. Emergency measures are called in due to the high numbers of riots, civilians and convictions. About 120 so far imprisoned, with 200 in the system waiting to go to prison for daring to speak out against Kier Starmer. How dare they? Obviously, throwing brick, stones and all that kind of thing is not tolerable, but some of the things people have been put in prison for is a joke. 1 dead, 2 seriously injured in a stabbing in Gorton in Manchester. 22-year-old is in custody. Never heard any more about that. Blinken says Israel agrees to a bridging ceasefire, awaiting a response from Hamas. Hamas are not necessarily going to agree to anything at the moment, but hopefully they will do in the future. And that brings us to Tuesday. Where are we? There we go. And on Tuesday we had, whoa, what's going on here? 6 are still missing in the Sicily after the yacht sunk. King Charles visits Southport, meeting survivors and victims of the riots. Bodies of 6 hostages have been found in Gaza by the Israeli Defense Force. Hamas say they were killed by the strikes by Israel, which I mean, what Hamas says you've got to take with a massive pinch of salt. Made a beeline to watch this. Annie, you're welcome. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. The WHO, World Health Organization, say Mpox is not the new COVID, so they're not going for lockdowns and all this nonsense. But we wait with breath of beta to see what happens in the future, either near or not so near. Army blow up a World War II bomb in County Down near some houses. Thankfully for the residents, there was only very minor damage to a couple of houses. Most of the houses got away with it scot-free. 21st of August is a Wednesday. 5 bodies now found in the sunk yacht, 1 still missing. A man arrested in Bradford after fire kills mother and 3 children. Bulletproof glass protects ex-president, wannabe President Trump in his first outdoor rally since his assassination attempt. Meanwhile, the Obamas take the Democratic conference by storm. Yeah, Obama, and all that kind of stuff. Over 150 people jailed after the riots. A man arrested over cybertrollism. What? Stoking posting false information about the Southport murderer. Thursday the 22nd, Jermaine Janus is sacked by the BBC and TalkSport. He was on the One Show Match of the Day because of alleged issues involving unsolicited texts, and he said may get lawyers involved. The day after he said, yeah, it was all my fault. Second dog attack with deaths in 24 hours. One was in Accrington and another one in Birmingham. 2 dogs were still on the loose. It's very quiet tonight. 2-tier NHS now, an Alzheimer's drug which apparently doesn't cure Alzheimer but certainly slows down the build-up of Alzheimer's. It's not going to be made available to all, but can be available on the NHS privately. So if you've got money, you can pay for it. If you haven't got money for it, you can't pay for it, basically. Yeah, we've got a few people in, but yeah, it's a bit quiet tonight. Might be other stuff going on, I don't know. Friday, Jermaine Janus is ashamed and sorry for the inappropriate messages that he had made and sent. The energy price cap is up by 10%. This is at the end of October, just as we go into winter, which is going to put the average energy price up by £150, which seems reasonable if you think about it. Despite the fact that numerous times in the election campaign, Keir Starmer said he doesn't understand why the Tories haven't froze energy prices, because it's putting untold pressure on home. And Birmingham says chilling out, having a beer, bank holiday, can do it on a Sunday. You can do it on a Sunday because it's bank holiday tomorrow. But yeah, he basically said numerous times to Kier that they would not put prices, or they would freeze the price increase on energy, and the first chance they get to do it, they don't do it, and it goes up by 10%, which is the highest increase it's had since the war started. Remember, many pensioners now no longer entitled to the energy fuel payments, winter fuel payments, so they'll be paying more for their energy than they were last year. However, they won't be getting the help they needed this year. So well done, Kier. It's 50 days of Keir Starmer. Is it the worst ever? Well, he lasted longer than Liz Truss, and I must admit I wasn't expecting that. Approval rating is the lowest in the time scale, other than Liz Truss, and he did promise many times the freeze of energy costs, and it ain't happening. We've got the big speech coming up from what she called, the silly woman. What she called, the Chancellor of the Exchequer womany thing. We've got that coming up soon, and Rachel Reeves, and no doubt everyone's tax will go up. And at that £2,000 that Keir Starmer was on about, said all your taxes will go up by £2,000. Well, I think that was an underestimate. I think it's going to go up a lot more. I'm not saying it would have gone up less or more if the Conservatives had got in, but it's I hope it's not just me tonight boring where the regulars are. They'll pop up. And the final body was recovered from the wreck of the luxury liner that sunk in Sicily. Takes us to Saturday the 24th. Butch and Sonny to stay on Space Station. They're the astronauts who risked their lives by going on a Boeing spaceship. Never mind a Boeing, I wouldn't even go on a Boeing aircraft, let alone a spaceship. Anyway, lo and behold, it got them there without killing them. Woohoo! But sadly, it can't come back down again, probably without killing them. So they're going to send it down on its own, and they're going to have to wait until the end of February next year to hitch a lift on SpaceX. I mean, like rock and a hard place, isn't it? What would you sooner go on, a Boeing or a SpaceX? Remember, they have, unscheduled rapid deconstruction, i.e. their rockets blow up quite a lot. Anyway, we'll see whether or not the Boeing Starliner can actually make it back without anyone on board. Yeah, it's just absolute cock up. There's a manslaughter investigation now by Italian police over the yacht tragedy. Now the waterspout thing, people are saying we don't understand how a ship that size could be sunk by a waterspout, but there's no other damage to the ship, and there was a severe storm and waterspouts. But yeah, very confusing. It's a bit like the Nicola Booley and the Jay Slater cases of people dying mysteriously, and everyone seems to think there's something else going on underneath, but we'll have to wait and see. Second person arrested over the Germany stabbing, which killed 3. Islamic State group claim that they did it. Oh, that was the breaking news yesterday. Stabbing in Germany on the 650th anniversary of a city founding and diversity as well. 3 dead, many more injured by a man who disappeared. Anyway, they arrested 2 people up to yesterday. And today, Sir Kier says there's no quick fixes, and things will get worse before they get better. They've already got worse, Kier, so you've kept one promise. You've absolutely to everyone over. So well done on that one, Keir Starmer. You are my hero. Which is why we need a video clip. So this is a video clip of something I filmed on Friday in the shopping centre. Tell you what, some people's mobility scooters, they're out of this world. So there you go then. That was... just need to cheer yourselves up, it's just after everything else, isn't it? Now that's a scooter. I must admit, I did another jokey video on that as well, but sadly it doesn't really work on this, but you'll see it on my vlog as and when that goes up. But yeah, and then it brings us to the news that makes you go or whatever. Or whatever. Oh yes, well, whatever, isn't it? It is indeed. Now, I don't know whether I showed this last week or not, but it's worth showing again if I didn't. People keep saying that electric cars are the future. I'm not saying that petrol is the future, don't get me wrong, but there is a massive benefit for not getting lithium out of the ground. Talking of cars, here's one, going for a swim, which I wouldn't have said was the best plan it's ever had. Basically it's a car that rolled to the edge of a quayside, i.e. dock. It's a video, hence it being blurry. It then kind of wedged itself on the ship, but the ship being on water kind of moved out of the way, and the car kind of fell down between the ship and the quayside. So yeah, not as good as whatchamacallit. A yacht there called Unsinkable 2, and the question is what happened to the first one. And this, ironically, was I took this picture or screenshot before the tragedy in Sicily. Fears Labour would try and change too much too quickly are proved unfounded as they continue the fine traditions of government by giving civil service jobs to 4-party donors. So yeah, Labour have always said that the Tories give high-ranking jobs to people who've donated money to the Tory party whilst they were in government, and within 50 days Keir Starmer's government has given 4 very good, very high paid civil service jobs to party donors. So yeah, they're as bad as each other, aren't they? Me, I'll come but only for one drink. I've got to be up early tomorrow. Me, 3 hours later. Drunk woman steals a ferry and yells, "I'm Jack Sparrow." We've all been there, apart from the ferry bit. I don't know, maybe you've been in a ferry, I don't know. Medalist shock nationality switch. This is Australian news. After bringing home 2 silver medals and a bronze representing Australia at Paris 2024, cyclist Matthew Richardson has announced he will switch nationalities moving forward and compete for Great Britain in all future cycling events. The Australians, who are very Australian proud, are very upset by this, and they're trying to get him kicked out now of all competitive sports worldwide. But if you've got dual nationality, you're entitled to do that. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of footballers who've played for one team when they could have played for one of two. I think even Ryan Giggs could have played for England, but chose to play for Wales. Probably because he knew he wouldn't get selected for England and more likely to get selected for Wales, but there was more chance of getting glory with England, but he stuck with Wales. So yeah, it's up to the individual, isn't it? Conservative Holmes, Tim Montgomery says Keir Starmer needs a holiday because he looks exhausted. Mike Graham on Talk TV says the country would benefit in a huge way if he just took a break for the next 4 years. Which, yeah, you can't argue with. Meanwhile, we're talking about Boeing rockets being unreliable, and we were talking about the rapid, dismantlation of rockets from SpaceX. Well, this is in Scotland. A rocket engine explodes during testing, and it kind of went up in a pretty big way, to be fair, in the Shetland Islands. Global warming, another little boost there for that. Banksy, they're looking at some of the old artworks that Banksy's done in the past, having done the 9 Days of Animals, which we looked at last week at length. If you remember, the magic mushroom lady in Australia is up for trial. Accused triple mushroom poisoning murderer Erin Patterson is due to face a Supreme Court trial in April in regional Victoria. The 49-year-old's charged with the murder of her former in-laws, Donna and Gail Patterson, and Gail's sister, Heather Wilkinson. All three died in hospital days after consuming an allegedly deadly mushroom meal at Patterson's home on July 29th, 2023. Yeah, very weird thing that went on there, so hopefully they'll find out what it actually was. At least 55 arrested after clashes with police outside Israeli consulate in Chicago. So riots going on all over the world at the moment. This one is about Israel. I've never been more afraid of a dog in my life. I mean, that is going to give you nightmares, to be honest. That is definitely going to give you absolute nightmares. I'm sure it's a lovely dog, but my God. Meanwhile, another thing that give you nightmares. This man was paid to tarmac my drive and left without finishing. When confronted, he didn't want to talk about it. I don't wanna talk about it. Yeah, it's Rod Stewart who had a hit called I Don't Want to Talk About It, for those of you who don't know who that was. Another great actor ruined by drugs, and this is a felon alleged in America being taken away and is a dead spit, according to this, of the Predator. Tokyo has been smashed by heavy rain, and we've got a flooded subway there. And then Elon Musk, and it's very rare, I think I agree with Elon Musk, but he says on his X platform, formerly Twitter, propaganda isn't just about creating fake news, it's also about hiding real news, which is where I think we're at with the British media at the moment. German Navy blasts out Darth Vader theme on the River Thames. It was in London for training and a supply stop. I mean, it's come a long way for a supply stop when you bear in mind that Germany isn't actually that far away. But the thing I noticed, more than the fact they were playing the tune from Star Wars, for legal reasons I had to change it, was the fact the ship was actually sailing backwards up the Thames, which was actually quite impressive. Some people can't even reverse a car. But these Germans were reversing an entire warship up the Thames. Very, very impressive indeed. Meanwhile in Australia, I apologise for us closing again, underlined. My 2 new cashiers quit because I said their boyfriends couldn't stand here for their entire shift. Don't hire Gen Zs, they don't know what work actually means. Now hiring, baby boomers only. Whoa, I've got a chance of getting a job. If I go to Australia, I could be a cashier in that place. But no, they're right. It's like everyone's just glued to the phone, and they look at you like you're an idiot when you say, well, you're actually here to actually do work, you know. But this is the other part of the problem, isn't it, as well? Men in 1983 leathers on, riding big chunky motorbikes, men in 2023 wearing safety helmets and riding electric scooters. It kind of shows where we're heading. Have you ever been to these places where you pick up food? It used to be pick and mix, but they do it with bread and cakes and things like that in Aldi and various other places, and donuts in Tesco's and all. And I think they're the most unhygienic thing in the world. But don't worry, this shop's got the perfect solution. Please use tongs to pick up the pastries. Thanks. Hang on a minute. Something wrong there. Oh yeah, it's the spelling, you fool. Daughter was missing for a year while her body lay in a hospital morgue. Mother's lawsuit claims. So a young girl passed away. The body went missing. They couldn't find it, and it turned out it had spent an entire year in a morgue, in a hospital that was active, as was the morgue. So there's now a lawsuit, which is fair enough, I think, in that case. 3 people killed in a school shooting in Bosnia. Police identified the gunman as a school cleaner, Mehmet Vulkak, who they said opened fire with an automatic rifle before trying to take his own life. I don't know what's going on at the moment, but we seem to be getting a lot of really horrendous things going on. And it's not just in the Britain, it's everywhere. Meanwhile, a single ticket in Australia claims the entire $1 million Australian dollar jackpot. It's about 50 quid. But the winner remains a mystery. Oh, it's a mystery. I don't know who's got the $1 million jackpots. It's a mystery. Anyway, yeah. They did come forward, don't worry. But I think 3 people actually come forward. In Beijing, you can pay someone $60 to come and rescue you from a traffic jam. They pick you up on a motorbike and someone else drives your car to its destination. I don't know whether that's brilliant or terrifying. You're stuck in a traffic jam, you need to get somewhere, so you ring up someone, they come on a motorbike, they charge you $60 for it. You get on the back of the motorbike with someone you've never met before, you ride off into the distance, and then another stranger gets into your car in the traffic jam and then drives your car to where, yeah, that strikes me as a bit of a scam. Hi, Dream Frequency. Chancellor Rachel Reeves insists Labour won't be giving the unions a blank cheque. Instead, it'll have a couple of numbers followed by 9 zeros and her signature. Yeah, Rachel Reeves and the Labour Party absolutely pulling the pants down for the unions, even though I've heard that the junior doctors are voting to strike again, as are the train drivers, despite the wage offers that Labour have offered. What a talented dog. A man has trained his dog to play the trumpet on London Underground. He said it went from barking to tooting in just over an hour. It went from barking to tooting in just over an hour. A dog that learned to play the trumpet. Keep up, folks. Jeez. Not sure these shops should have set up next to each other. We've got a shop called Flick, and then another shop next to it called The Bean. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Not saying anything else. Although if you ever watch an episode of Inside the Factory from the factory that's literally about 5 stones throws, well, maybe 10 stones throws away from my front door, you will know full well that they did a similar joke at the Heinz Bean factory, where women used to flick the beans manually when they were, when they were black, to get rid of them, so you had only nice yellow beans or orange beans in the tins of. Anyway, yeah, let's move on. Electric treadmill shoes are set to boost the world of VR gaming. Now this could work. Will shoes with motorised wheels revolutionise the manner in which gamers walk through VR worlds? Check out these shoes developed by UK-US startup FreeAim. that are essentially little wearable treadmills. Free AM VR shoes are presently compatible with any VR headset supported by Steam VR and will work with most PC-based VR games that have a walkable environment. Developer versions are now available to corporate clients for only $4,999 a pair. How do you take them off though? Because you're strapped in them. And they've got to have motors in them to stop them rolling around, otherwise you would literally fall on your arse. The only thing I've seen before this was like a circular disc, a fairly big disc, with lots of little ball bearings in it that you could actually stand on and walk around, and you wouldn't go anywhere, but the ball bearings would send a signal to the computer that would show the environment changing and you moving in whatever direction you were moving in. But they didn't really take off either. But these seem, I don't know, they look cheap, but they're expensive, and I don't think they're going to catch on. But I don't think VR will catch on until we've got the holodeck from the Starship Enterprise, which won't be in my lifetime or any of your lifetimes either. Sicily, the last body has been recovered from the capsized Bison super yacht, and although the woman's body has not been officially identified, 18-year-old Hannah Lynch is reportedly unaccounted for. Drivers recovered the body at about 12 PM local time on the day, taking the total number of confirmed dead to 7. It is a tragic case, but yeah, why was there was a weather warning, why was the yacht kept outside the harbour? It would have made more sense to have the yacht in the harbour. The weird thing is that the main guy on the yacht, and the reason why everyone else was on the yacht, was a British businessman who'd been accused of giving false accounts to Hewlett-Packard when they bought his tech company off him, and he was taken to America and tried and found not guilty earlier on this year, along with another co-defendant. That other co-defendant died 2 days earlier than this capsize, having been hit by a car whilst out jogging. It's all very, very weird. And tragic as well, obviously, but yeah, very, very strange. Meanwhile, police called to Manchester Pride after people were crushed outside a full capacity stage. Yeah, Manchester Pride was on last weekend. Was it this weekend? No, it was this weekend, wasn't it? No, was it last week? No, it was this weekend. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Was it? No, it was Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, Sunday, so it was yesterday. Anyway, yeah, keep up. I'm not even keeping up. And yeah, there was a bit of a crush going on, which is not good. Boris Johnson tweeted, "Welcome to Starmer's Britain, twinned with Orwell's 1984." And this is a reference that Starmer wants to increase the amount of facial recognition cameras around the country in order to keep an eye on terrorists, but basically keep an eye on everyone. It is a totalitarian state that we're heading towards, and people can't see it. It is strange that people just don't get it, and they don't understand why cash needs to keep going. They just find it easier to be monitored by everyone with everything you do. I mean, okay, we all walk around one of these bloody things, a Mobi, that, you know, tracks where you are and all that kind of stuff, and people can watch your videos, and because you've said they can, and they can look at your photographs, so be careful what you take, and they can check your texts and your social media interests, things like that, so it'll target the advertising for you, or just spy on you, basically. Meanwhile, the BBC, being as open as ever, even with its own journalists, had this weird thing going on Breakfast TV the other day. A BBC news reporter stood outside the BBC on BBC Breakfast saying that the BBC had not responded to a request for a comment from BBC News about a BBC presenter being axed from a BBC programme. Yeah, BBC being as open as ever. Yeah, not. Kind of thing, isn't it? South Korea to advance EV battery certification scheme after fires. South Korea miles further ahead on the EV thing than a lot of the world. Very highly country compared to any other country in the world, and obviously to North Korea. But they're having a huge amount of EV, electric vehicle fires because of the lithium batteries in them. Who saw that coming? Causing massive damage not only to cars but also properties and lives. And they're now deciding that they're going to have more certification against it. Electric vehicles are not the future. How many times do we have to say this before you listen? Israeli stages heavy airstrikes. Israel has launched a series of intense airstrikes in southern Lebanon early on Sunday in what it says is a preemptive strike against the Hezbollah militant group. The airstrike threatens to trigger a broader region-wide war that could torpedo efforts to forge a ceasefire in Gaza, with Hezbollah promising to retaliate for Israel's assertion from top commander last month. Assassination. There was the assassination of the Hezbollah leader, and Hezbollah are saying they're going to strike back, so Israel's striking again. And everyone will just be like, yeah, okay, that's fine, Israel, you just kill as many people as you want to, and we won't do anything about it. I'm not supporting Hezbollah, obviously, but you talk about two-tier standards. Mad Vlad warns some Russians not to use dating apps run by Ukraine spies. The Russian leader has told people living in 3 war-torn regions, Kursk, Belgorod and Bryansk, neighbouring Ukraine, not to use the tech to prevent Kiev collecting intelligence that there are lonely people in Russia who want to find true love. Well, Putin's not going to give anyone the pleasure of seeing that. Python leaps out of a loo and nearly takes bloke's balls off in a horrifying ordeal. A man had a race against time to rescue his testicles after a huge snake had bitten him whilst going to the toilet during a terrifying scene in Thailand. So yeah, and it's very warm in Thailand, so I dare say they were low-hanging fruits. Hashtag just saying. Putin leaves Russians baffled as his space troops are deployed in Kursk. Ukraine has expanded the conflict with Russia over Vladimir Putin's border into the Kursk region, and it is understood to have taken more land there than Moscow has since the start of the year in Ukraine. So it's only a good bit of news about any war going on at the minute. And they're not killing all the civilians. They're doing it wrong, aren't they? A fuming man visits monkey forest and complains there are too many monkeys there. Trentham Monkey Forest recently hosted a bloke who complained the tourist attraction primarily features monkeys, leaving many thinking, no, Sherlock. It's the clue's in the name. It's called Monkey Forest. What are you expecting to find in Monkey Forest? Probably monkey trees. But why monkey trees called monkey trees? Because monkeys in love them. Pentagon worker claims US government has remains of 4 deceased aliens. A former Pentagon worker has claimed that the US government has remains of extraterrestrial life in a brand new book. I think it's got one of them hidden compartments, you know, like when you put poison in there, or you hide a dagger or something if you committed a murder on Cluedo. I think that's what this must be, a brand new book where they've just shoved the bits of the bodies of the ETs they've got in the book so no one will find them, because who reads books nowadays? Perfectly safe. Yeah, I'm talking nonsense, obviously. I'll have a drink. Not Guinness tonight. Beer to be brewed in space for out-of-this-world zero-gravity taste. The quality of beer making could be about to skyrocket with gravity-defying new techniques promised to take your lager stratospheric. And it's not just subs that could benefit. I think that might be a good idea, particularly like the oldie days. But if they get to Mars or something like that, to drink beer or use the water to make a weak beer, not a strong beer, otherwise they'd be all smashed all the time. Like they did in medieval times. They made beer, even kids drank beer because it was safer than drinking water. But it wasn't as alcoholic as it is now. It had just been, because of the bacteria and the fermentation and all that, it killed the nasty bacteria. which meant you're less likely to die from diphtheria or something equally disgusting. Trump slams claims that the Queen found him rude, and he says that he was her favourite president. The Orange Man Baby, not my words, has come out swinging at sleazebag author Craig Brown's new biography of Her Majesty, dubbed A Voyage Around the Queen, Trump said the monarch was actually fond of him. She was very good at putting up with people. She did it for long enough, didn't she? She knew how to get people thinking she liked them. A huge 14-foot croc eats Gran alive as helpless locals spot her legs sticking out. Grandmother Halime Rakenbau, 54, was attacked by the massive 14-foot reptile while cleaning up in the Wali River in Maluku, Indonesia, after a lunch of fresh clams. So she'd eaten the clams, the croc was angry, so the croc ate her. Said, I'm going to get these clams no matter what. Yeah, making light of a tragic case there, but hell. Weather map shows 32 degrees centigrade French heat bomb set to roast Britain for 72 hours in a few days. Wet and windy conditions have settled across Britain, but summer isn't over just yet, as forecasters are predicting a final blast of hot weather coming our way that could see temperatures rocket to 30. Not round here. It's going to be mid to high 20s if it comes off the way it's hopefully meant to. We're a nation of shoplifters using banana trick to cheat self-service tills. Never heard of this until now. At least 6 million Brits are guilty of using the banana trick to cheat self-service tills, and plenty don't think it should even be a criminal offence. Of course it's a criminal offence. It's a criminal offence when you take a bag for life without paying for it. It's still theft, no matter how you look at it. But no, apparently people are weighing something like, I don't know, a tin of ham that's worth 5 quid or whatever, and it's coming up as 60p for bananas, and then putting it in the bag, and because it goes off weight on the scale that you put your food on, they're getting away with it. But that's premeditated theft. But yeah, if you take a carrier bag without paying for it, then you are a shoplifter, and that's the end of it. Don't care who you are. Earthbound powerful solar flares will make people feel unwell, says a boffin. Meteorologist Michael Luce said that the flares essentially cause magnetic storms that tamper with Earth's makeup, and one Russian doc said some people even get sick as a result. Must admit, people have said about the flares before, and I'm like, oh yeah, when was that? Oh yeah, I did feel a bit off that day. So yeah, maybe it is true. Riders black out as world's most intense roller coaster reaches 145 kilometre speeds. Project 305, which was previously known as Intimidator 305, has been dubbed the world's most intense roller coaster after theme park goers claimed they blacked out while riding it. I was on this roller coaster and I kind of blacked out while riding it. That's basically what happened. Shroud of Turin, blood evidence points to Jesus' crucifixion being accurate. I mean, bullshit, although crucifixions were real. After an AI managed to recreate Jesus' visage, face, a new analysis from the Shroud of Turin has uncovered further information about the events after the crucifixion. I'm sorry, I'm screaming bollocks on that one. Jesus never existed. People were crucified. The Turin Shroud was only found, 1,000 years after the crucifixion. I say found, loosely. It's all bullshit. It's all about controlling people. That's what religion was. Religion was the first way of controlling people. We've now moved on to technology and media and stuff like that. But we're still being controlled. But the reason why religion was born was to control people in order for them to behave themselves. If you're bad, you will go to a bad place. If you are good, you will go to a good place. Once you die, we all die. You want to go to a good place for eternity. So behave yourself. I give you religion. US has found alien vehicles and now wants to pin down who operates them. Louis Elizondo claimed one of the two spacecraft came from the alleged 1947 UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico, and that the government is interested in finding out exactly who their operators are. Well, it's a bit late, isn't it? I mean, even aliens, they're going to be brown bread by now, aren't they? Boy 12 hospitalised with E. coli after poo seen in TUI hotel pool. Lucy Price and her son Oliver, 12, jetted off to Julian Club Hotel in Marimus in Turkey earlier this month, but their dream trip turned quickly into a nightmare. I don't know whether that is actual Oliver, it's just a kid in a bed. But yeah, the irony is that there's repeats at the moment of Benidorm on, what was it called? This TV or something like that. And it was an episode I watched the other night was the one where there's a poo floating in the pool, and everyone's saying, oh, it's a joke pool because Mr. Garvey's went to the joke shop and bought some joke poo, so that's all it is. So grab it, and the woman grabs it, the hoity-toity one, and you don't see it, but you hear the squelch and her scream, and then the program ends. But yeah, in real life, this poor lead kid or another one ended up in hospital with E. coli poisoning. Mad Vlad Putin is a huge ABBA fan and loves dancing to them during Ukraine war. Vladimir Putin is known to be a huge fan of the Swedish pop band ABBA, and one defence expert believes he is spending his time dancing in the Kremlin while Ukraine continue their counter-attack. Well, yeah, he's a dancing queen then, isn't he? My words. No, your words. Sex pest dolphin terrorises beachgoers as it keeps trying to romp with them. Now, dolphins apparently are the only other mammal that has sex for fun other than humans. Every other species pretty much on the planet only has sex in order to have babies, but dolphins like to have sex whenever they can, really, just for the hell of it. They enjoy it, which is fair enough. But anyway, a bottlenose dolphin named Souza is aggressively attempting to bonk beachgoers in Japan, causing numerous injuries to humans, including severing somebody's fingertip last week. So it's a frisky dolphin. But thankfully, because it's we don't know if this is the correct dolphin, they've protected the identity of the dolphin by blacking out the eyes, so you won't be able to wrongly, incorrectly challenge the dolphin. Meanwhile, experts call for Shroud of Turin to be reanalysed after blood evidence emerges. They reckon it contains traces of ancient Jerusalem material. I mean, how would they know? So for 2,000 years ago that it never happened. There's lots of stuff that's older than that. Brits' weirdest pizza toppings named, including jam and Scotch eggs. Scotch eggs on a pizza. I assume they're going to be sliced, but then there's just going to be like egg and sausage in it, because the egg doesn't stay in, because the egg rattles around inside the... Anyway, more move over pepperoni or ham and pineapple. Brits in their droves are now moving towards bizarre and unusual toppings on their pizzas, with some even choosing Scotch eggs and curry. Now, I can't have pizza because of the cheese on it, and I'll be honest with you, I've tried vegan ones and they are vile. But what is your favourite pizza topping even? Meanwhile, a massive baby Jesus statue in church is a spitting image of legendary Brit rocker. A giant statue of baby Jesus in a church has left the internet in stitches, as Reddit users reckon it's just like a famous British rock star, and they couldn't be more spot on. But the question is, who is the British rock star? Send your answers in right now. The other thing I'll say is he didn't have a dada, but he did have a mama. Wow. Wow. Yeah, Phil Collins. At least I assume that's who it is. That's who it looks like to me. Obviously a young Phil Collins. UK faces high 30 degrees centigrade heat wave that could shatter 118-year-old weather record. A record-breaking heat wave could be on the way to Scottish Brits in September, with forecasters suggesting temperatures will reach high 30s for some. Won't be us, it'll be down in south in that there London, mate, innit? And that is it for the news that makes you go, which brings us to breaking news, and the news that is breaking whilst I've been on air. So whilst I've been chatting about the news, what has happened in the news? Well, Labour Minister Pat McFadden sends message to pensioners after winter fuel payments cuts. It's probably something stupid. UK at tipping point as Labour tax raid looms. He reckons they've got just 10 weeks to save your wealth. So basically, if you've got a lot of money, it's time to move it abroad. Record-breaking September heatwave could send UK temperatures into high 30s. That's the Daily Mirror. 20 items never to flush down the toilet. Right, the only things you should flush down the toilet is wee-wee, poo-poo and toilet paper. I mean, there's a bazillion things you shouldn't flush down there. I mean, you know, I wouldn't flush my mobile phone down the toilet. I wouldn't flush one of my Mega Drive cartridges down the toilet. I wouldn't flush my car keys down the toilet. I mean, you know, it's nonsense. Labour's tax raised exposed as Keir Starmer is about to tell Britain things will get worse just 2 months after promising it would get better. He's a liar. We know he's a liar. You let off Jimmy Savile, for God's sake. Is Iceland safe to visit after the volcano eruption? Here's what you need to know. It's probably safe to visit, but you might not be able to leave there if the eruption affects the airport. 90 things you shouldn't do when visiting someone's home. Well, again, this is pretty obvious, isn't it? Like, defecate on the furniture, kick the dog in the face, smack the children, rip the wallpaper off the wall, steal the TV. What are these stupid things people come up with? What else have we got? Irish peacekeepers in Lebanon safe after Israeli airstrikes, although apparently there is a a British citizen found dead after Russian missile strike in Ukraine. I think this is a journalist who was in a hotel which was hit. Last I heard, which should be over an hour ago, this was posted an hour ago, was that they were looking for this person, but now they say it's a British citizen has been found dead. Beach has been evacuated after a suspected bomb has been discovered. Princess of Wales seen with family at church for the first time since cancer announcement. Horror as man dies after brutal attack on stairs at London Underground station. Syrian accused of German festival killings allegedly told police, I'm the one you're looking for. Kirsty Allsop says social services consider about her son's interrailing trip. A man stabbed at Notting Hill Carnival as police make dozens of arrests. And billionaire Telegram founder Pavel Durov is arrested in France for not doing enough to stop bullshit on his platform. It was a Devon beach that was evacuated. Royal Mint abandons £4 million worth of unwanted copper coins. In Massachusetts, Oxford, Massachusetts, a US town imposed a lockdown to avoid deadly mosquito-borne infection. That sounds not fun. it's all gone off. There we go. We're back. We're back. Tesco ditches cash payments across 40 UK stores in mad decision. Other stores have done that and then gone back on it. Weather maps show terrifying volcanic acidic cloud heading over the UK today. This is from Iceland's latest eruption. Per mile car tax changes could see drivers pay even more to use the roads. This is what I've been going on about for a while, because we've got in the Wigan area in Greater Manchester, we've got the CAS cameras still up, and it does feel now like we are going down this slippery road of having literally to pay to use the roads as well as paying tax. Labour apparently have revealed ambitious economic blueprint for transforming the UK. Yeah, we're going to tax the rich so they all flee the country and the country goes bankrupt. Genius, if you think about it. Anyway, that is it. That is your lot for this week. Pardon me. I've got windy pops. Oh dear. Don't know where that's come from. So yeah, it's been a very quiet one today, to be fair. But never mind, sometimes you get a busy one, sometimes you get quiet ones. This has been exceptionally quiet. So Any and Dream Frequency, if you're there, thank you very much. T, message me, let me know you're alright, very worried about you. Yeah, that is it. Don't forget, if you listen to this on the podcast, feel free to get in touch via the comments, or join us live 10 o'clock UK time on a Sunday, and you can join in the chat and we can chat about stuff. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. I'll be seeing you. Until next time, bye. Oh no.